Hey everyone, Eryn here, your hostess with the mastest, and welcome back to Becoming Me, the weekly vlog episode thing where I talk about stuff and other stuff. Oh, and today is weird. Also, I'm wearing this as per request. From my wife. Hope it's not too silly. And let's just get into stuff, I guess. Here we go. Well, today is kind of like an experiment, because I'm wearing makeup, but just lipstick. Kind of trying to see like how much of a difference it makes. And I think it makes quite a bit, actually. Which is weird because it looks like it just dissolves completely. So, lesson learned, I'll do better next time. But anyway, I learned something this past week, which I should have known all along, but it's really important, I think, for like anyone that's trans and trying to develop like breast tissue and stuff like that. And that is that we talk about like fat redistribution and how it works this way, and you won't have it going in like masculine areas, and it'll be more focused around your hips and your chest. But what I didn't realize is that I have to actually put on weight to have it. Like, for some reason, and I think most people actually think this, like the fat just kind of moves through your body and repositions. But no, that's not how it is. Fat, like, it stays where it is. So, I have to gain fat while simultaneously burning it to kind of help with this process. And that's a little bit more active than what I'm used to. But it makes me happy to know that, like, I kind of have that control over it. Because when I lose weight, it's gonna be starting from areas that are more masculine. And when I gain it, it should be going into places that are more feminine. At least that's hope. And yes, that's really good. But I mean, besides that, like kind of more of a tangent, I guess, I have just been so damn tired, and like it's always, I think I'm the tiredest I've ever been, and then I get even more tired. And now I'm seeing that, like, well, basically, if I want to have free time to do this or do that, like, I really have to work for it. Because if I just go to sleep when I'm tired and exhausted and stuff, then I'm never going to be able to do anything that I like. I'm just going to be working all the time. So, I really have to do that. Well, and then the other, like, really big HRT, like, thing that happened today, not today, this week, sorry, it didn't happen today at all. Oh my god, I'm so late on this stuff. But, when you're on HRT, like, if you're male to female, your genitalia, like, kind of shrinks and stuff. And, well, when I was getting in the shower one day, I looked down at myself, and it wasn't like smaller or anything, but it was like thinner. Like, I was used to being like really thick. And I was like, whoa, what? And like, then I was wondering,
here it comes! Desperate times call for desperate measures. What are you doing? Taking care of business. Yippee! Yeah! Yahoo! Woo!
And it was so painful. Like, I was really surprised by all of that. And like, it was good or bad, but I think it has a lot to do with the fact that I just haven't done anything like that in such a long time, probably because I've been so busy. But anyway, lastly, I want to include a shout out, like a special shout out, thank you, and appreciation for my wife in this part. Cause like we started getting rid of some of our DVDs and assembled them all, and like gonna put them in and give them to like Second and Charles and get like store credit and stuff. And wow, it's gonna be a lot of store credit, that's for sure. Well, cause all the DVDs that we put aside to say like we'll get rid of, we'll go, and not the ones that we'll keep. Like, we took maybe a fifth of the ones that were gonna go and then brought them to Second and Charles, and we got like $160 store credit. So I might actually get a Switch soon, which is really exciting. And I'm really excited for that. And then also she's doing this cross-stitch stuff. And when she does this one, I'll definitely show it, because I really like it and I'm really proud of it. And I think it's really cute and stuff. But she surprised me with it, and it's a picture of my avatar. And it says, what does it say? It says, Eryn is my hero. So that's really great. Anyway, enough for all of the HRT and kind of, I guess, better stuff that happened this past week. Now let's get into the what the fuck. So I was doing awesome, awful people, but like this week is just kind of what the fuck. So this is now the what the fuck block, and I'm gonna try and go through things rather quickly. There's been so much, and it's crazy, especially considering that this past week was also the Transgender Day of Visibility. So again, what the fuck, like, god damn it. But to start things off with, we have a comic, if you call it that, by the Washington Post. And I don't even know what it's trying to represent at all. But I'll show the picture and you can look at it. Like, not even gonna read it because you can see the picture, hopefully. And the Mueller report is the report that's supposed to look into Russian collusion with the presidential election of Donald Trump, and how all that like affected politics and stuff. Like, what is this supposed to mean? What is it supposed to represent? And also, it just keeps the thing I was talking about before in one of my crying hours about trap as a culture is dangerous, and trap culture things. Because, like, so what if that's a trans woman? Like, do they have to be disappointed? Like, whatever. Like, I don't like it. Anyway, going on to the next thing. Here's a shit take if I've ever seen one. So, I guess, because of Transgender Day of Visibility, Amazon made Alexa have a trans man's voice, and that's really not helping at all. It's actually really insulting and disgusting and like stereotyping and just making us like seen as separate and not like just people. But there's other problems wrong with that. For one, everyone has different voices. Some women have more masculine voices. Some women have more feminine voices. And while male to female trans people, like, they have to kind of really use, what's it called? Like, vocal exercises and stuff to be able to sound more feminine. But if they get on HRT before puberty, then it really isn't like that. It's not much of a problem at all. Because, like, their voice hasn't really deepened and dropped or anything. And this is even worse because it's a trans man, which is female to male. And when they take testosterone, it actually does affect their voice. And, like, it gets deeper. But not only that, like, if you hear a trans man's voice, like, it's just a man's voice. This is so wrong and so messed up. Like, really, it's not helpful. And trust me, people in the comments just rip them apart. Oh, okay. Next thing. Okay, I don't have like a specific tweet about this, except for like some of the things I'm bringing up now. But I talked about a while ago how they're bringing back Section 28, I believe it is, and that like the U.S. is trying to roll back rights of people in the LGBTQ plus community. Well, and it's not just the US, it's other places too. Like here in Brum. I don't know where that is, but someplace in the UK, I guess. There was a protest outside schools saying that they're not homophobic, that they don't want homosexuality being like represented or shown in schools at all. Ugh. And that it goes against like their core values and stuff. And like it's just it gets kind of worse and but it also gets a little bit better too. Like, but there's reasons why this is so bad. Like, if someone is gay or bi, like, it's not a choice. That's just who they are. And if they're not shown, like, in school that it's okay to be like that, then that just kind of, perpetuates the whole self-hating, stay in the closet, all that kind of crap. But I digress. I'm going into the next thing. So yeah, this kind of goes along with what I just said, and it's like a hot button issue right now in the UK. The BBC asked the question to people: is it morally right for 5-year-old children to learn about LGBT issues in school? Is it morally right? Like, something's wrong with the lifestyle. Like, if you have 2 moms or 2 dads, or one of your parents is trans, or one of your siblings is trans, or, you know, anything like that. Like, they think that that shouldn't be known, that that shouldn't be normalized, that people need to remain, like, afraid of who they really are and keeping themselves hidden, and just, it's because even though, like, being gay has a lot to do with your sexuality, it has so much more to, like, offer in the ways that you are treated by the rest of society and how you respond to that. And when people see that and they reduce it to just like some kind of fetish or something, then like that's when we end up in situations where they're like, oh, but is it actually like okay to talk about how LGBT people are like persecuted and not given rights and had to fight for this, and why that is, and that they're born that way, and all this stuff. And like, well, it's like, why is this coming up? The only thing I can think of is that people are like, parents are like, oh no, if they hear about gay people, then they might be gay. Well, they're gonna be gay whether or not they hear about it. It's just a matter of, are they gonna be accepted by their family? Are they going to be accepted by society? Are they going to be okay with being who they are? Because there's not a stigma around it, but people want there to be, and I don't understand. But here's one silver lining, a little bit, in the next part. Yeah, so this is going back to the protests that are going on, and this one head teacher of a school says that they are going to continue to teach and LGBT issues, and like, that's really good that they're doing that, but it's really kind of scary that it has to be like so special that they've decided to. Like, how many people are dropping them? Like, and they point out, you know, everyone should be equal, and like, just because you're different doesn't mean that you're not, you know, equal, and you shouldn't have rights and things like that. Ugh. And that's really what it is. Like, it reminds me if we didn't teach about any inequality in schools, and no one was aware of it. And honestly, that's kind of how I had it. I grew up in that environment, and I didn't really know about most of the struggles of like marginalized groups. And maybe that's why I wasn't really a very good LGBT ally before I realized that I'm trans, because I just was blind to it. And I think about how many other people are blind to it, and they need to be educated on these things. And, well, get ready, because I'm going to be educating y'all on some of this, so we're going to get into that next. Now, this is just sick and sad. I mentioned the trans and gay panic defense a little bit in my crying hour about trap culture being dangerous, but I myself didn't even realize like how bad it is. And this tweet's like, you know, cis people actually listen to trans people 2019 challenge. And you look at this map, it's insane that you can do this. That basically everywhere in the US, if a person murders a transgender woman, then they can use the gay panic, the trans panic defense to make it the trans person's fault that they murdered them. Like, that's really fucked up. It's not good. Please listen to us. This is bad. Alright. Next. Well, we started the What the Fuck block with basically the Mueller report thing. And we're gonna end it with something very similar. Call it the circle life of bigotry or intolerance and just lack of knowledge, I guess. But I'm actually gonna show this clip because it's kind of short, and just listen to it, and then we'll come back.
Cheat on me? I'm be like, alright, I'm gonna take him out. We're gonna get drunk. I'm gonna get him all perked up and everything. We're gonna have a good time. Get him super twisted. Then bring a bitch around. We're gonna have a threesome. And when he wake up, he gonna be like, what the fuck? Yeah, because the bitch was a tranny. I'm be like, yup, we had a threesome with a tranny. Yup, a tranny suck your dick. You don't gotta fuck another nigga to get even, bitch. There's other ways.
Basically, it just kind of perpetuates this idea that trans people are nothing more than a fetish or freaks, and that we're not actually people. And the thing that really upsets me and kind of scares me is that this is somebody that's relatively popular, I think. And, you know, how many people think like her? How many people are like this all the time, saying things like this all the time? And that constantness of fetishizing and dehumanizing us just permeates throughout society. And that's why on Twitter we'll see people that were trying to have a transgender day of visibility, and they're like, they're just being really nasty, toxic, transphobic, and everything combined. I don't really know how to help that. I think it's something that is just gonna take a really long time for society to grow. And part of the reason is because mindsets spread and then stick. And so, you know, even if we had radical changes that are positive in the highest places, which is not gonna happen, but like it's gonna take a lot of time for there to be much less transphobia and much less people using us as like the butts of jokes and fetishizing us and making us freaks and things like that. Oh, and hopefully next week is not quite as transphobic, but you know what? I don't know if that's gonna be the case because it's everywhere. But I'll go ahead and get into the next thing. Yay, dream time again. Yeah, my girlfriend had some tweets, and it was like sending letters to people, and I was like, your mom, your dad, yourself, your old self, your first love, your crush, things like that. And I guess that got me thinking about my first love, and then I had a dream about them. And so now I'm gonna try and remember everything, at least the gist of it, because I don't, it's been a while at this point, and I don't know if I've remembered much, but anyway. So I met them on Final Fantasy XI when I was playing that, and they were really cute, but also like really aggressive sometimes. And it's because they had really kind of had a lot of bad luck with boyfriends and stuff like that. And they lived in Finland, and just thinking about who I was and who I am now and who they were, I don't want to make assumptions, but I do think they might have actually been trans as well. At least that's what sort of happened with the dream. The dream, there wasn't like anything super duper special, but it was kind of like I sought this moment to see them again, to let them know like who I am, and just basically I was trying to get a hug. And yeah, so anyway, jumping into the dream. I was like with some kind of expedition crew or something that was doing diplomatic stuff, and in my dream they were the offspring of like some royalty king thing or whatever, and we were like on a mission, and then we said like, oh, we'll be in this place, and I'm like, oh my god, that's where that's where she lives and stuff. And so then like we were doing some kind of activity, and I slipped away to try and kind of like scope out the area, and it was like almost kind of, what's it called, like a Renaissance fair looking thing, but then there was also like really like high class ornate like ballroom places and stuff, and a big stage where people were playing, and I got stopped several times by the king, Oh, and I like inquired about it, and he was a little upset, but also like confused, because I was like, oh, I used to be friends with your daughter, and I was just kind of wondering. And then he was like, because he doesn't have a daughter. And but anyway, so like he wasn't quite as much help. I mean, in truth, he would be like, oh, you made a mistake. Actually, that's my son, and yeah, he's over there, kind of thing. But since it's a dream, he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? But anyway, so then I'm like spending all this time the whole night, and like the timer is running down on when we have to leave and go to the next place. And then I see them. I see like the back of them, and they're sitting with like two friends that I think I recognize. But I slowly approach them, and I kind of stand awkwardly behind them because I don't know what's going on, and I wanted to like tap their shoulder or something, but then their friend noticed and they turned around, and then I saw their face, and I was like really shocked and embarrassed, but then like overjoyed, because I imagine that now he's much happier with who he is. He's much happier with how he's presenting and how people might treat him, I guess, in that respect. And they didn't recognize me at first, but I explained who I was, and it was kind of like this moment of like both of us understanding why we were who we were in the past. And then we just had a nice hug, and we hugged it out. And I mean, in real life, I definitely would have been like, we should stay in touch, and here's my email and this kind of stuff. But like in the dream, it was kind of like then almost in a movie type thing, where it's like, all right, now we gotta go. And but it was really, really good to have that hug, to see them again, to feel like that connection with them, and know that they are important. But yeah, that's my dream, I guess. So I'll go into the next thing. All of this came as a complete shock from start to finish, really. But I started recording and playing again, and oh wow, we're both kind of rusty on that. So I don't know how it's gonna turn out, but oh, I was really sore in my voice, kind of like how I am right now. And then my wife called down to me, and for whatever reason, I didn't use my voice. I decided to go back to the old one, and she was taken aback by it, and I felt really bad about it. And then it just kind of got worse and spiraled, and I felt extremely dysphoric about it. And it reminded me of a few days prior. I was trying to help my friend Ray Killam with something, and I had my camera on, but I hadn't shaved. I hadn't done anything, and like I accidentally showed myself, and I got so upset. And she was like, "Oh, you're so cute," and I was like, "But no, it doesn't make sense." Well, and I mean, that's not fully related, but it's more so that, like, when I met people in real life and they knew that I'm trans, like, it's really kind of only been the people that used to know me that I've used John's voice and stuff. And let me tell you, that's really weird, because here we go. Like, sometimes I'm using my voice most of the time. That night, I was using John's voice, and oh my god, it was awful. I was so dysphoric about it, and I shut down completely, and it just made things worse, and I got yelled at and stuff. And then other times, John is using his voice, and he's fine with that. It's not a big deal. But then he's trying to use my voice, and it's kind of dysphoric too, but he doesn't mind it as much. It's weird, I know, I'm explaining it that. And this is already going on really long, but that's why that was important, is that was showing almost a little too much of John, like visually. And because it's my friends that have only seen me like this, really, it just hit a nerve. And so what's it called? Oh yes, because I was really going on about my voice, and right now it's super like strained and tired, so it probably doesn't sound the best. But what I realized the next day is that my voice, I've worked really hard on it, and in the back of my mind, I'm always thinking about improving it and stuff like that, and improving it and getting it better and just a little bit, and making it the best and things like that. And like, I feel like I've plateaued with my voice. Like, sure, it'll get marginally, very marginally better over the course of like the next couple of years, just using it daily and stuff. But it'll also age naturally in that time. And really, like, this is the best it's gonna be. I mean, not right exactly now, but how I have it usually is the best it's going to be. And now I was faced with this. I had to be content with my voice, because I wasn't going to be able to do anything more with it. Well, and it made me think about how in the back of my mind, like, what was it? I had this idea that why I'm okay with what my voice sounds like is because I know I'm working on it, and I'm going to keep improving it. But now I'm at this place where it doesn't seem to really improve, that I have plateaued. And it made me think about all the times that people, I'd be like, oh, I love your voice, and your voice is so cute, and things like that. And another person said it was pretty, and oh, my eyes, yeah. But what's it called? Oh, but I was always like, no, it's no good, because I'm working on it, and now, like, knowing that I can't continue to work on it, that I have to be content and really appreciate what I have. And I love my voice. I have always loved it, even while it was really not very good. And growing it and stuff like that. But I always never, like, fully loved it, because I was like, it's gonna get better and stuff. And when I noticed that, and all these people looking up to me, and then I get dysphoric about it and put myself down, I was like, no, I need to own this. I need to make this, like, understand and appreciate what I have. Ugh. I may not be very good at makeup, or have any fashion sense, or have the years like a lot of people, and just another laundry list of things that, you know, I wish I could have or do or be or whatever. But there are my friends that look up to me, and if they're looking up to my voice, and I'm like, oh, but I hate my voice, and it sounds so bad, and stuff like that, well, then, like, how's that gonna make them feel when they haven't really gotten to practice or try and do anything like of what I done, but they want to? Like, it's basically putting them down, not realizing it, by putting myself down. And so, after all of that long stuff, I get into the meat of what this thing is about. I was at work, and, like, it just kind of dawned on me, and I thought it was such a good thing, and, oh, good thing, yeah, it definitely was a good thing. But I was in the middle of working, and then I tweeted it out real quick, and then I continued working, and then it just blew up, and I was so shocked and so happy and, like, just whatever. But I'll show the tweet, and, well, if I can remember what it said, it was basically like, well, to all trans girls, you know, there's a trans girl out there that looks up to you and wants to be like you. So the next time that you try to tear yourself down, like I was doing with my voice, you know, instead, use that energy to uplift them. You have worth. Own it. And it was really popular and really just opened up my eyes to a lot of different things that I never experienced before. Like, well, I started seeing all the likes, and I know people are like, oh, I'm muting this now because it's getting too much stuff or whatever. But not me. I was like, oh my god, I love this. And I just kept, like, looking at everybody and following people and getting follows and stuff like that. And there was so many likes and retweets, and very little people, like, saying, no, you're bad or whatever. Most of it was just kind of sarcastically like, oh, but not me, or you haven't met me, or like, you're joking, right? Or I'm being called out, or something like that. And, well, but I also saw some people that liked and then followed me, and I was looking at their stuff, and then I saw that they like supported things that I wouldn't support, but other than that, they're good people. It's like they're misguided, and I don't know how to deal with that. And then I saw people liking my post, or my tweet, and they were very problematic people, and like, I don't know. And I made a couple of new friends, which is great. In fact, one that I'm gonna talk about in the next little last bit that is just mind-blowing to me, and I really hope things. But I made a couple friends, and then I got a couple of different DMs too. But there was one person that was not a friend. And like, it was kind of almost my initiation, if you will. But I know that my friend Ray and I haven't seen Meowjit talk about it, but I know Bubbly has, and I think other people too. But like, really creepy, disgusting guys kind of coming into your DMs and trying to slide into them. And for a while, before all of this, I was like, I felt kind of envious that no one was doing that to me, because it was almost like I'm not worth it. I'm not feminine enough or cute enough or whatever, that like people that are chasers or this or that, like, they don't even care, because, yeah. But this guy, I didn't even respond to him, because I didn't want to engage in any of that. He was like, hello, babe. And I was like, is this what I think it is? And then I go into it, and it's a whole bunch, like, their timeline was just full of pro-Trump, like, really awful, nasty rhetoric and things like that. And it's like, whether or not he's sliding in my DMs to try and demean me because he hates trans people, or sliding in my DMs because he fetishizes me and wants to, like, do that while still having such a toxic idea, it was like, made my skin crawl. And I never imagined, like, having some disgusting slime ball, like, looking at you and being like, yeah, I want to have sex with you. And just, let's just say the envy that I had of anyone that's getting harassed, no more. Definitely gone. I have learned my lesson. That is over. Well, but I apologize, this one kind of went way longer than the other stuff. And I just want to finish real quick on this last thing. And then that'll be the end of this week's vlog. Yay. Yeah, going back to some of the new friends that I made from that tweet. Someone in particular, like, I love talking to her. And it's really cool kind of hearing about her experience of being trans. Because unlike me, I didn't really have severe dysphoria. It was just kind of like something wrong, something uneasy. But they did. And thankfully, they got to start hormones and like puberty blockers and things like that before puberty. So they've done very well in that regard. Well, but they were telling me about stuff, and this, like, I love this story, honestly, but basically they were with this guy and starting to get like hot and heavy, maybe even like a little frisky, and then they were like, oh, we're about to have sex, I'm trans, I better tell him. Like, they forgot that they're trans. I would love to be so, like, confident and just, what's it called? Whatever, like, in myself, that I would forget that I'm trans. And the best part about this story is then they were like, the guy was like, oh, don't care, bend over. Like, that's great. But sadly, I mean, it's great that it turned out that way this time. But as I've said, like my previous crying hours and stuff like that, that can go very, very wrong very quickly, depending on the person. Like, you are warming up to somebody and they don't know you're trans, and then it's like you're about to have sex, so you have to tell them. They could flip the switch, and then that goes back to the whole murdering people because of transparent thing, and like thinking that they're gay for being attracted to you, and just all things like that. But for her, I'm really glad that it worked out, because that's awesome. But yeah, again, I don't know if it'll ever actually happen for me, because, well, I've lived too long as the wrong gender, as not the right gender, because I wasn't really a gender before at all. But that I don't know if I'll ever forget completely. If I'll ever be so secure in myself. Secure is the word I was looking for. That I'll forget that I'm trans. That I'll just think that I'm cis. Who knows? Maybe it'll happen. I could see it happening, but it's also really hard to see too. Anyway, this has gone on long enough. I hope that you enjoyed it. Especially if you're still here. And, you know, let me know your thoughts on, like, especially the what the fuck block. Different things like that. And, yeah. Okay. Well, there we go. If you stayed till the end, you're a real sweetheart. And take care, everybody.